This is the 1970 International Cub that has that I just picked up from the auction, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and it was at the Fort Hays State University, and it was at the Extension Service, which experiment station, there we go, which was then later on wound up being part of Manhattan K-State Ag Research Center, and this was used to do the wheat test plots. It has a interesting setup on it. It says International and Cub 14. It's got helper springs on each side, and it is 4 rows, but it could be set up for an additional 2, 1 on each side. Has protective covers excuse me, that are set up over it. I believe they were shop built for this. The drill itself Fletcher Manufacturing from Columbus, Nebraska. I looked them up. They've been acquired by somebody, but they were leaders in no-till. And this is set up with a seat here and one on the other side for observers to sit here as this was planting, so they could watch and count the seeds going down, because it was a research center or whatever department, so they could see germination rates and all that. The drill itself is operated from back here like you would a corn planter, but it's got the more modern gear drive, and that runs up to a shaft. Oh, if we can get a better look at it. And then a jack shaft and over, and then up to this. And now, I don't know, I'm assuming that's a speed selector, and there are pencil marks up here. There's a mark there, 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 and there. And let's see if we can get a look at what it actually is. Maybe. Zero Max E2 CW12, I don't know, but that's a gearbox of some description. And let's back this out, and then from that you operate these sets of gears that spin this. And the guy that helped load it when I bought it, he just picked it up with the forklift and set it on. He called this a hurricane system. And so then you would put your seed up here, and then these run over to a manual lever, and it does both sides. Manual lever. You lift up, and so you can fill your hopper. I'm assuming, judging by the pencil line, that you measure so you have a specific amount. I'm guessing all this because I never went to college and worked at the Ag Center, but the same on the other side as it is on this side. And they have a gear reduction system on the it's a Howard manufactured direct drive and low drive, underdrive system to lower the speed, the ground speed. My best guess on that is so it goes slow enough that you can count the seeds being dropped by the observers. And along with that sets in line here. This would, if this wasn't in here, this would be moved over. So this, you have to put a spacer in here for your drawbar. One thing to note is this wheel, the dish right here, points in. Over here, the dish points out. That moves this wheel further in, tire and wheel, and that one further out. Has this rack. It's really nice. I do not know what they put on it. And this side also, as you can see. Oh, and here they've got depths marked for the hydraulics. For your seed depth, pencil marked in there. And then this magnet was up here, and it had a piece of paper under it that had pretty much been beat up. And then a little pan there for, I don't know why. It's got a loop here, and I assume it was for the markers. You run down through this pulley. The pulley's missing on the other side. The bolt's there, but the pulley is not. And I believe that was to these markers, these row markers. And this would drop down and leave a mark on the ground in the soil where you would drive or line up your next row. And see here's where you would add that third and fourth row, come over and down, and then you would set up your new your planting. A nice solid toolbar, same on this side it was on the other. And now it mounts just like a toolbar, like this goes through that square that all the cubs have. So this could just be unbolted and pulled off, which it will be coming off. And these here on the front, also let's talk about these. So these right here, now I don't know for sure, but I believe those are set up as they've added those shop built local, not part of the fab from the factory for the planter itself. Now these, I believe, if you look, they line right up with that and this row here. Just a guess, but it has probably something to do with getting your rows very straight. Maybe they run string from end to end. Maybe they used it to follow. I don't know, but it's something that they put on for adjusting that. And then again, here's a little sight on the front that I can get probably lined up with something at the other end of the little test plot. Very, 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 very clean. I believe it's very low hours because you only plant wheat once a year, because everything out in western Kansas is winter wheat. So your test plots would have been planted, and then you would wait over winter and harvest and see what you had, I guess. And this was interesting. I did not see this. It wasn't listed on the auction bill. It was an online auction, but this was underneath this cover. Number 69. Kansas State University, ARCH, Agriculture Research, something. Inventory, formerly Fort Hays Experiment Station. So this is Kansas State University took it over. It's a manufacturer's IH Cub, serial number 234953J, April of 70, and then the price $1,630.78, and that was at Old Iron Classic Carico implement. A light blue colored ribbon. But this is going to come off, and I will be selling the drill because I bought it specifically for the tractor, not fully understanding what this was. I mean, it's kind of a one of a kind. And look at the battery box. I put a new battery in it. I have not seen a battery box that's not rusted out, that's original, probably ever. Everything that we ever had when I was growing up already was rusted and corroded out. But it starts, well, now it does. The only issues with the tractor, the tires are somewhat weather checked and worn on the front, and this one will go low for about a week. It'll get almost flat, just setting. And the carburetor was full up, gummed up, white. I mean, you know how it is. And the fuel tank is needs to be cleaned out again. The fuel from the fuel tank itself, the drain was plugged solid with white corrosion stuff. I took the carburetor apart and did a very quick and dirty clean on it. The float sticks on it right now, but it does start and it runs and it idles. It brings up good oil pressure, idles nice and quiet. It is a unique item. Kind of hate to disassemble it because it's such a one of a kind, I believe. But it's a nice tractor, and I wouldn't mind having a nice tractor. So, I mean, anybody could put this drill on something else. I had thought about if I was going to keep it, but I'm not. But I thought, I'm not going to plant wheat, but I did think about, coming back here and removing the seat. Person could do that. Set your spacing as you want for your tractor, and go with it. I did think about putting it on a different tractor I have and then selling it with the other tractor. But I may do that. I don't know. Or if I may sell it as it is, minus the tractor. So reupholster that. Let's see if it'll start. Turn some gas on. There's the sediment bowl. It's real difficult to get in for any of this stuff. Yeah, look at all the crud coming out of that, down in that sediment bulb. I'm gonna shut it off because I don't want to flood, because that float's real heavy or bent. I may have bent it when I put it back together. Generator makes a little noise when you first start it. It's charging. In a minute it'll quiet down. Probably just need to oil the bushings. No smoke. Ran out of gas. Want some more gas in that carburetor? Down. I just either need to lubricate that fan or those bushings on the generator. It is 12 volt. Still charging. Got the lights, I didn't see them working yet, but might be a fuse or maybe a switch, or I just didn't do it right. Forward and backwards real quiet. The gears are really, really quiet. I don't know what else I can show you on this. Oh, I showed you that. This was for the marker. And there's one over on this side also. At first I thought it probably had a disc or something, but you can see that's worn. So that's been dragging in the ground. It looks like they only use this side. The other one's not worn unless they, maybe it is, I don't know. But anyway, and that's just chained up, keep it out of my way, and then when I hauled it home. Now I don't know what these are for. Maybe to follow. Yeah, run out of gas. And that's how long I run on a float. Bowl full of gas. I don't know. Okay, so this lines up. This one lines up with that, and this lines up with that one. So it's for measuring of some sort, or guiding yourself down the row. I don't know, but set up for precision. The governor is set right where it runs right now. That RPM, you cannot change it, so I'll have to run through and set the governor, but it's set for that speed, for that. Probably put it in a specific gear in low on the underdrive and select a specific ground gear, and you got the rate of seed you wanted. It's probably dialed in pretty accurate. I don't know if there's anybody that used to go to K-State in the 70s, possibly into the 80s, that knows something on this.